chapter 18. Lord Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu's visit to Vrindavan. The Prabhupada wrote these summaries. I confirmed it with Jai Vaita Maharaj a few days ago because somebody asked. He started as a later point. It's up to the third canto of the Bhagavatam. There's no summaries. Yeah. But he did it himself. It's kind of amazing. It's hard to summarize. The following summary of the 18 chapters given by Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Ṭhākura in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. In the village of Arit Gram, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu discovered the transcendental lakes known as Radhakund and Shyamakund. He then saw the deity Haridev at Govardhana village. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu had no desire to climb Govardhana Hill because the hill is worshipped as Krishna. The Gopal deity could understand the mind of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore on the plea of being attacked by Muslims, Gopal transferred himself to the village of Gantuli Gram. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Gantuli Gram to see Lord Gopal. Some years later, Lord Gopal also went to Mathura, to the house of Vitaleshvara, and stayed there for 1 month just to give an audience to Srila Rupa Goswami. After visiting Nandishwar, Pavana Sarovara, Sheshashayi, Kaila Tirtha, Bandiravan, Bhadravan, Lolavan, and Mahavan, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gokula and then finally returned to Mathura. Seeing a great crowd at Mathura, he moved his residence near Akrura Ghat. And from there he went every day to Vrindavan to see Kaliya Radha, Dashashaditya Ghat, Keshi Ghat, Rasastali, Chir Ghat, and Amlital. At Kaliyat Lake, many people mistook a fisherman for Krishna. When some respectable people came to see Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they expressed their opinion that when one takes sannyas, he becomes Narayan. Their mistake was corrected by the Lord. In this way, their Krishna consciousness was awakened. And they could understand that a sannyasi is simply a living entity and not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath at Akrura Ghat, he submerged himself in the water for a long time. Balabhadra Bhattacharya decided to take Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to Prayag after visiting the holy place known as Soro Kshetra. While stopping near a village on the way to Prayag, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu fainted in ecstatic love. Some Patana soldiers who were passing through saw Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and falsely concluded that the Lord's associates, Balabhadra Bhattacharya and others, had killed the Lord with a poison named Datura and were taking his wealth. Not very good police work. Thus the soldiers arrested them. However, when Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu regained his senses, his associates were released. He talked with a person who was supposed to be a holy man in the party. From the Koran, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu established devotional service to Krishna. Thus the leader of the soldiers, named Vijuli Khan, surrendered to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and he and his party became devotees of Lord Krishna. The same village today is known as the village of Patana Vaishnavas. After bathing in the Ganges at Soro, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Prayag, at the confluence of 3 rivers, the Ganges, Jamuna, and Sarasvatī. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu traveled all over Vrindavan and pleased all living entities, moving and non-moving, with his glances. The Lord took much personal pleasure in seeing everyone. In this way, Lord Gauranga traveled in Vrindavan. All glories to Lord Gauranga, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Prabhu, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas Thakur. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu danced in ecstasy, but when he arrived at Arit Gram, his sense perception was awakened. Arit Gram is also known as Arishta Gram. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu understood that in that village Aristasura had been killed by Sri Krishna. While there, he inquired about Radhakund, but no one could tell him where it was. The Brahmana accompanying him could also not ascertain its whereabouts. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could then understand that the holy place known as Radhakund and Shyamakund were at that time lost to everyone's vision. He therefore discovered Radhakund and Shyamakund, which were two reservoirs of water in two paddy fields. Although there was very little water, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient and could understand that formerly these two ponds were called Sri Radhakund and Shyamakund. In that way, Radhakund and Shyamakund were discovered. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the local people, "Where is Radhakund?" No one could inform him, and the Brahmana accompanying him did not know either. The Lord then understood that the holy place called Radhakund was no longer visible. However, being omniscient, the Supreme Personality of Godhead discovered Radhakund and Shyamakund in two paddy fields. There was only a little water, but he took his bath there. When the people of the village saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taking his bath in those two ponds, in the middle of the paddy fields, they were very much astonished. The Lord then offered prayers to Sri Radhakund. Of all the gopis, Radharani is dearmost. Similarly, the lake, known as Radhakunda, is very dear to the Lord because it is very dear to Srimati Radharani. Yata Radha Priya Vishnos, Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata, Sarva Gopishu Saivaika, Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna, so her lake, known as Radhakund, is also very dear to him. Of all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most beloved. This is a verse from the Padma Purana. In that lake, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani used to sport daily in the water and have a rasa dance on the bank. Indeed, Lord Krishna gives ecstatic love, like that of Srimati Radharani, to whoever bathes in that lake even once in his life. The attraction of Radhakund is as sweet as that of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, the glories of the Kund are as great as Srimati Radharani's. Because of its wonderful transcendental qualities, Radhakund is as dear to Krishna as Srimati Radharani. It was in that lake that the all-opulent Lord Sri Krishna performed his pastimes with Srimati Radharani with great pleasure and transcendental bliss. Whoever bathes just once in Radhakund attains Srimati Radharani's loving attraction for Sri Krishna. Who within this world can describe the glories and sweetness of Sri Radhakund? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus offered prayers to Radhakund, overwhelmed by ecstatic love. He danced on the bank, remembering the pastimes Lord Krishna performed on the bank of Radhakund. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then marked his body with tilak made from the mud of Radhakund, and with the help of Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he collected some of the mud and took it with him. From Radhakund, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Samanas Lake. When he saw Govardhana Hill from there, he was overwhelmed with joy. When the Lord saw Govardhana Hill, he immediately offered obeisances, falling down on the ground like a rod. He embraced one piece of rock from Govardhana Hill and became mad. Mad with ecstatic love, the Lord came to the village known as Govardhan. There he saw the deity named Haridev and offered his obeisances unto him. Haridev is an incarnation of Narayan, and his residence is on the western petal of the lotus of Mathura. Mad with ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to dance before the Haridev deity. Hearing of the Lord's wonderful activities, all the people came to see him. The people were astonished when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love and personal beauty. The priests who served the Sri Haridev deity offered the Lord a good reception. At Brahmakund, the Bhattacharya cooked food, and the Lord, after taking his bath at Brahmakund, accepted his lunch. That night the Lord stayed at the temple of Haridev, and during the night he began to reflect. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu thought, since I shall not at any time climb Govardhana Hill, how shall I be able to see Gopal Roy? Thinking in this way, the Lord remained silent, and Lord Gopal, knowing his contemplation, played a trick. Coming down from Govardhana Hill, Lord Gopal granted an interview to Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who was unwilling to climb the hill, thinking himself a devotee of Lord Krishna. Gopal stayed in a village called Anekut Gram on Govardhana Hill. The villagers who had lived in that village were mainly from Rajasthan. Purport: the village named Anekut Gram is referred to in Bhakti-ratnākara. Quote, here all the gopis and gopis enjoyed wonderful pastimes with Sri Krishna. Therefore this place is also called Āniyora. The Anekut ceremony was celebrated here. O Srinivas, whoever sees this place has all his desires fulfilled. It is also stated, look at the dense forest near the Kund. It was there that Gopal was concealed. Also the Stavāvalī, Vraja-vilāsa-stava, by Raghunath Das Goswami states, when Nanda Maharaj offered a large quantity of food to Govardhana Hill, Krishna assumed a gigantic form and eagerly invited everyone to ask boons from him. Then, deceiving even Srimati Radharani, he ate all the offered food. Let me take shelter of the place known as Anekut, where the Lord enjoyed these pastimes. One person who came to the village informed the inhabitants, the Turkish soldiers are now preparing to attack your village. Flee this village tonight and do not allow one person to remain. Take the deity with you and leave, for the Muslim soldiers will come tomorrow. Hearing this, all the villagers became very anxious. They first took Gopal and moved him to a village known as Gantuli. The Gopal deity was kept in the house of a Brahmana, and his worship was conducted secretly. Everyone fled, and thus the village of Anekut was deserted. Due to fear of the Muslims, the Gopal deity was moved from one place to another again and again. Thus, giving up his temple, Lord Gopal would sometimes live in a bush and sometimes in one village after another. In the morning, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath in a lake called Manasa Ganga. He then circumambulated Govardhana Hill. Just by seeing Govardhana Hill, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu became ecstatic with love of Krishna. While dancing and dancing, he recited the following verse. Antayam adriya balahari rasavaryo yadrama Krishna charanashvarasha pramodaha manam tanoti sahago ganayostayo yat paniya suya vasakanda nakanda bhulai. Of all the devotees, this Govardhana Hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, as well as their calves, cows, and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities, water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhana Hill appears very jubilant. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:21-18. It was spoken by the gopis when Lord Krishna and Balaram entered the forest in the autumn. The gopis spoke among themselves and glorified Krishna and Balaram for their pastimes. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then took his bath in a lake called Govinda Kund, and while he was there, he heard that the Gopal deity had already gone to Gantuli Gram. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the village of Gantuli Gram and saw the Gopal deity. Overwhelmed by ecstatic love, he began to chant and dance. As soon as the Lord saw the beauty of the Gopal deity, he was immediately overwhelmed by ecstatic love, and he recited the following verse. He then chanted and danced until the day ended. Purport. Ready?
Yes.
Śrīla Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura gives the following information about Govinda Kund. There is a village named Āniyora on Govardhana Hill, a little distance from the village of Paiṭha. Govinda Kund is situated near here, and there are 2 temples to Govinda and Baladeva there. According to some, Queen Padmāvatī excavated this lake in the Bhakti-ratnākara 5th wave. The following statement is found. śrī-govinda-kuṇḍa-mahimā aneka, ethā Indra kaila govindera abhiṣeka. Govinda Kund is exalted for its many spiritual activities. It was here that Indra, defeated by Lord Govinda, offered prayers to him and bathed him. In his book Stavāvalī, the following verse is found. Nīcaiḥ prauḍha-bhayāt svayaṁ sura-patiḥ pādau vidhṛtyeha yaiḥ swaganga salilaśchakara surabhi dvara-abhiṣekotsavam govindasya navam gabam adipata rajesputam kotika tayat pradurabhutsadaspuranatu dakundam drisho tayat pradurabhutsadaspuratutad govindakundam-drisho. With humility caused by great fear, Indra took hold of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and in the company of a surabhi cow performed his coronation festival by bathing him with the waters of the heavenly Ganges river. Thus Lord Krishna's kingship over the cows became splendidly manifest. I pray that Govinda Kund, the lake created by that ceremonial bath, may eternally appear before my eyes. Amrita. Also, in the Mathura Kanda, it is stated, Yatra Bhishikto Bhagavan Makahona Yadu Vairina Govinda Kundam Tajjatam Snana Matrena Mokshadam. Simply by bathing in Govinda Kund, one is awarded liberation. This lake was produced when Bhagavan Sri Krishna was bathed by Lord Indra. It's good to have all these mantras, because then when we go in the parikram, we can stop at each one and recite the proper verses. What do you think? Gantuli Gram is situated near the 2 villages Bilachu and Gopalpur. According to hearsay, Radha and Krishna first met here. In the Bhakti-ratnākara 5th wave, it is stated, Sakhi dhunha vasre ghanti dila sangopane. The 2 concealed themselves by tying their outer garments together. It is also stated, Bhaguya laya keha granti kuli dila. With a Bhaguya, they undid the knot. What's a Bhaguya? For this reason, the village is known as Gantuli. Any Brajabasi locals out there knows what a Bhaguya is? Well, if ChatGPT knows, we'll put some tilak on them. Yeah? What's a Bhaguya? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1.5, 0.125. You can't find it?
I found something, but I don't think it's...
Okay. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "May the left arm of Sri Krishna, whose eyes are like the petals of a lotus flower, always protect you." With his left arm he raised Govardhana Hill as if it were a toy. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Gopal deity for 3 days. On the 4th day the deity returned to his own temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity for 3 days. On the 4th day the deity returned to his own temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked with the deity of Gopal, and he chanted and danced. A large and jubilant crowd of people also chanted the transcendental name of Krishna. Hari Hari! Hari. The Gopal deity then returned to his own temple, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the bottom of the hill. Thus all the deities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were satisfied by then all the desires of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were satisfied by the Gopal deity. This is the way of Lord Gopal's kind behavior to his devotees. Seeing this, the devotees were overwhelmed by ecstatic love. So it seems as he fabricated some emergency that the Muslims were coming as a false alarm. So they didn't know what he saw any Muslims, but the Lord came down so he could give darshan to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very eager to see Gopal, but he did not want to climb Govardhana Hill. Therefore, by some trick, the Gopal deity personally descended. In this way, giving some excuse, Gopal sometimes remains in the bushes of the forest, and sometimes he stays in a village. One who is a devotee comes to see the deity. The two brothers Rupa and Sanatan did not climb the hill. To them also Gopal granted an interview. In ripe old age, Śrīla Rupa Goswami could not go there, but he had a desire to see the beauty of Gopal. Due to the fear of Muslims, Gopal went to Mathura, where he remained in the house of Vitaleshvara for 1 full month. When the two brothers Śrīla Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami went to Vrindavan, they decided to live there. Following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example, they did not climb the hill because they considered it non-different from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On some pretext, the Gopal deity granted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu an audience beneath the hill, and Gopal similarly favored Śrīla Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. During his ripe old age, when Rupa Goswami could not go to Vrindavan, go to Govardhana Hill because of invalidity, Gopal kindly went to Mathura and remained at the house of Vitaleshvara for 1 month. It was then that Śrīla Rupa Goswami could see Gopal's beauty to his heart's content. The following description concerning Vitaleshvara is given in the Bhakti-ratnākara. Sri Vallabha Bhatta had 2 sons. The elder Gopinath was born in 1432 Shakabda, that's 1510 AD. The younger Vitaleshvara was born 1437, that's 1515, and died in 1507, that's 1585. Vitaleshvara had 7 sons: Giridhara, Govinda, Balakrishna, Gokulesh, Raghunath, Yadunath, and Gyanasham. Vitaleshvara completed many of his father's unfinished books, including his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, the Subodhini commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Vidvan Mandana, Shringar Ras Mandana, and Nyasadesh Vivaram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan before the birth of Vitaleshvara. As previously mentioned, Śrīla Rupa Goswami was very old at the time Gopal stayed at the house of Vitaleshvara. Śrīla Rupa Goswami and his associates stayed in Mathura for 1 month and saw the Gopal deity. When Rupa Goswami stayed at Mathura, he was accompanied by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Lokanath Das Goswami. Sri Lokanath Goswami was a personal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and a great devotee of the Lord. He was a resident of a village named Talakadi, in the district of Jashore, in Bengal. Previously he lived in Kanchanapad. His father's name was Padmanabha, and his only sibling was a younger brother named Pragalbha. Following the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Lokanath went to Vrindavan to live. He established a temple named Gokulananda. Srila Narottam Das Thakur selected Lokanath Das Goswami to be his spiritual master, and Narottam Das Thakur Srila Narottam Das Thakur selected Lokanath Das Goswami to be his spiritual master, and Narottam Das Thakur was his only disciple. Because Lokanath Das Goswami did not want his name mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we do not often see it in this celebrated book. On the EBR railroad, the Jashore station is located in Bangladesh. From the railway station, one has to go by bus to the village of Sonakali, and from there to Kejura. From there, one has to walk, or during the rainy season, go by boat to the village of Talakadi. In this village, there are still descendants of Lokanath Goswami's younger brother. Bhugarbha Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Yadava Acharya, and Govinda Goswami also accompanied Srila Rupa Goswami. He was also accompanied by Sri Uddhava Das, Madhava, Sri Gopal Das, and Narayana Das. The great devotee Govinda, Vani Krishna Das, Pundarikaksha, Ishana, and Laghu Haridas also accompanied him. Laghu Haridas should not be confused with Junior Haridas, who committed suicide at Prayag. Generally, a devotee is called Haridas, and consequently, there are many Haridasas. The chief was Thakur Haridas. There was also a Madhyama Haridas. In the Bhakti-ratnākara 6th wave, there is a list of many of the chief devotees who accompanied Srila Rupa Goswami. The following Vaishnavas were present with Sri Rupa Goswami: the merciful Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, Sri Lokanath Das Goswami, a reservoir of good qualities, Sri Madhava, Sri Paramananda Bhattacharya, Sri Madhu Pandit, whose characteristics are all wonderful, Premi Krishnadas, Krishnadas Brahmachari, Yadava Acharya, the merciful Narayan, Sri Pundarikaksha Goswami, Govinda, Ishana, Sri Govinda, the magnanimous Vani Krishnadas, Sri Uddhava, who occasionally visited Bengal, Dvija Haridas, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Sri Gopal Das, whose body is completely spiritual, Sri Gopal, Madhava, and many others. We can add it to the Prema Dhwani. It was with great jubilation that Rupa Goswami visited Lord Gopal, accompanied by all these devotees. After staying at Mathura for 1 month, the Gopal deity returned to his own place, and Sri Rupa Goswami returned to Vrindavan. In the course of this story, I have given a description of Lord Gopal's mercy. After seeing this Gopal deity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Kamyavan. Kamyavan mentioned in the Adi Purana. It is mentioned. Lord Shiva said, "The best of all forests is the fourth of these, named Kamyavan. O Goddess Devi, any person who goes there is eligible to enjoy the glories of my abode." Bhakti-ratnākara 5th wave says, "In this Kamyavan, Krishna performed enchanting pastimes. Here you will be able to take darshan of many ponds and other transcendental spots. I cannot even describe in writing all the sacred tirthas found at Kamyavan." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's touring Vrindavan has been previously described. In the same ecstatic way, he traveled all over Vrindavan. After visiting the places of Krishna's pastimes at Kamyavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Nandishvar. While there, he was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Nandishvar is the house of Maharaja Nanda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed in all the celebrated lakes, beginning with Lake Pavana. Thereafter he climbed a hill and spoke to the people. The Pavana Sarovar is described in the Mathura Mahatmya. Quote, one who bathes in Pavana lake by Nandishwar hill will see Krishna there along with Nanda and Yashoda and will fulfill all his desires. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, are there any deities on top of the hill? The people replied, there are deities on this hill, but they are located within a cave. There are a father and mother with well-built bodies, and between them is a very beautiful child who is curved in 3 places. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became happy. After excavating the cave, he saw the 3 deities. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his respects to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, and with great ecstatic love he touched the body of Lord Krishna. Every day the Lord chanted and danced in ecstatic love. Finally he went to Kandiravan. Kandiravan is described in the Bhakti-ratnākara, 5th wave. Behold the forest named Kandiravan, renowned throughout the universe. If one comes to Kandiravan, he can immediately be elevated to Vishnu Loka. After seeing the places of Lord Krishna's pastime, Sri Chaitanya went to Sheshashayi, where he saw how Lakshmi had recited, he saw Lakshmi and recited the following verse. Yate sujata charanam buruham staneshu vitas-tanai priyatatam ankarakeshi tenatribam kurpadi bir brahmatidir bavad ayushamna. O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about the forest path. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, spoken by the gopis when Krishna left them in the midst of the Rasa Leela. Afterwards, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Kaila Tirtha and then went to Bandiravan. After crossing the Jamuna river, he went to Bandravan. In the Bhakti-ratnākara, it is said that Sri Krishna and Balaram used to play at Kaila Tirtha with the cowherd boys during the entire day. Mother Yashoda had to call them to take their baths and eat their lunch. And that brings us to the end of our morning reading. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Giriraj Maharaj, if you so desire, please let us remember all the holy places in Vrindavan, and Lord Chaitanya is visiting them, and all the great Vaishnavas who lived there and who worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead in pure devotional service. May we follow in their footsteps. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Vanchakalptaruscha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.